Okay, this is Olaf, back again for you with, on this, a summer solstice, a ghost story. A story of an island with a dead walk, a shield maiden, warrior woman, a conversation she has with her undead father, and the cursed sword, Turfing. The story was written down in Iceland by the Icelandic scholars in the 11th, 12th centuries and forms part of the Norse sagas. The word saga comes from the Norse word sagir, meaning to say, because originally our stories were told around a campfire, which we have recreated here tonight. The story centres on a warrior woman, shield maiden, or skjoldmare, called Hervor. She has been brought up by her mother and grandfather, and she favours the life of that of a man, more of a fighting, swords, archery, rather than sewing and tapestries. When she learns of the true identity of her father, Angantyr, she decides to take revenge, and her weapon of choice is the cursed sword, Turfing. To recover the sword, she must travel to the island of Somsoy, which in modern day is now Samsø, just off the coast of Denmark, and she must have a conversation with her undead father to recover the sword. Angantyr was one of 12 brothers, all of whom were berserkers. They met with the King of Sweden a challenge against his two champions, Hjalmar and Orvar Odder, or Orvar Arrowhead. Hjalmar and Orvar Odd travelled to the island of Samsø with their crew as the place of the battle was set. They went inland and they left their crew by the ship. Angantyr and his brothers arrived later, and berserkers, doing what berserkers do best, killed the crew. They were battle weary when Hjalmar and Orvar returned to the ship, and they didn't fare well in the ensuing battle. Orvar killed the 11 brothers, and Hjalmar killed Angantyr, but not before he had been dealt a fatal blow by the sword Turfing. Orvar buried his friend on the island, and he also buried the 12 berserkers. Turfing was buried with Angantyr so that its cursed blade may never see the light again. Until, of course, many years later, when his daughter Hervor would try to recover the sword. Hervor takes her ship and her crew to the island. Her crew are reluctant to travel inland with her, as the island is well known to be steeped in magic, mysticism and the dead, spirits. She comes across a herdsman. She asks her way to the grave of the berserkers. He advises her that the island is haunted, walked at night by spirits, and refuses to take her. She offers to pay him, and he refuses. She offers to kill him, and he runs off into the woods. And by this time, the hour of night approaches, and this is where the poem takes off. It is not my translation, but I will try to do it honour. I shall read first in Old Norse, and then I shall read the English translation. Nusa honthwi nast, ut o juna, whar hau gaeldrin bren, ok gengur honthangat, till ok chreithisk eki, thot alir haugir varia gotu hennar, hon othram I thessa eldesem I myrgva, tha till at hon kom at haugi berserkiana. Now the next thing she saw on the island was where the grave fire burned, and she went towards it and wasn't afraid, though it lay in her path. She waded forward into those flames as if into darkness, and until she came to the grave of the berserkers. Vaki thu angantir, vekker thickhervo eingadotir ukker swafu, salvu or haugi hwassan maki, than sigerlama slogud werga. Wake up, Angantyr. Hervor awakes you, the only daughter born to you on Swarvu. Give me from your grave your sharp-edged blade, the one the dwarves made for Sigarlama. Hervor, Hjorvor, Hranni, Angantyr, vekek uthur alla undir vida rotum, hjolmi och med brynju, hwassus vervi, rond och med reithi, rovnum geri. Hjorvor, Hranni, Angantyr, I awake you all under the tree roots, with helmet and armour and sharp sword, with shield and harness and reddened spear. Hervor, Hjorvor, Hranni, Angantyr, sforsu uther olum innan rifja semther imara, morinith haugi, nemma selith that slodvalin, samir eigi drugum drought, vapenbärer. Hervor, Hjorvor, Hranni, Angantyr, may you all feel as though ants filled your ribs as you rot in your grave, unless you give me the sword that Dvalin made. It doesn't befit ghosts to bear such a fine weapon. Folkwad Angantyr, Hervor, dotter, what colours for? Full fiken staffa, fyrthu fyr at illu, tu orvin och orviti vel hugiandi, vekkar uppdaw the men. Angantyr said, My daughter Hervor, why do you call so, filled with curses? You're only welcoming your own evil doom. You have gone crazy. You're out of your wits, thinking wildly when you dare to wake up dead men. Seger thu egisot, svalati os the kailan I haugi sitja, sem thu havir egi turfing, met their trouwther tu of at eitavengabarni. You don't speak true. May our God leave you to sit whole in your grave if you don't have turfing with you. You are reluctant to deliver the inheritance to your only child. Thought upon this cowgrin, och var sem elder och, logivari aller haugrin. Then the grave mound opened, and it was as though fire and flame were all over the grave. Hnigin helgrind, haugar opnask, aller I eldi uibarm at sio, ataut utium at litask, skin to mer, if thu mort, till skippa thinna. Hell's gate draws up, the grave mounds open, everything in flame on the island around. It is an evil sight to look out of the grave. Hurry back, young lady. Go back to your ships. Brenydd eigis fo onotum at ekvil the elder uther hreithumk. Skelfer eigi moiu muntun hugar, thot hon draug sior, fjör durum standa. Hervor said, You can't burn those flames so bright at night that the fires will terrify me. This woman's heart will never tremble, even if a ghost appears above this door. Angantyr said, Seki ekther Hervor, hludfutel en visa dotter, that verðumun, sjomun turvingr, eftu trua amater, at thinni mer, allri spilla. Angantyr said, I tell you, Hervor, listen to me now, wise daughter. What will happen? Turfing will destroy all of your family, if you can believe it. Hervor said, Ek mun hyrve ook I hond nemma hwassan maki. If ek hava matak ugi ek aegi eld brennanda. Tycker log lagir ek lead over. She said, I will keep the sharp sword and take it in hand if I can have it. I do not fear the burning fire. The fire seems to be dying as I look upon it. Angantyr said, Heimsk tu hervor, hugar I gandi, thu at augum, I eld hrapar, helder vil excelia, ver sverð o haugi, maar in unga, mak ver I synjar. Angantyr said, You are a fool, Hervor, but you have courage. Rush in with your eyes upon the fire. I will happily give you the sword from my grave, you young girl. I cannot deny your request. Hervor said, Bwthyr alir brot fusir, Michellir I haugi, Heddan fel ixgiotla, hels thotumk, nu heimar, I milim, ermic humvervis, elda bruno. Hervor said, I am ready to leave. May you all dwell whole in the grave, and I will hurry away. I seem more than anything to be between worlds, when around me there are fires burning.